What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
Things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Welcome to another night that, or I should say another day, in which the prepping channels told you all about stuff they made up and nothing about what you'll all need to survive. So, wow, it is hilarious. It truly is. When you realize the scope, when you really truly understand. See, here's the thing. I don't think what I'm trying to lay down is something that clicks in a lot of people's minds. And no matter how much I break it down, doesn't matter. For some reason, for what seems to be a large majority, even in the preparedness realm, it doesn't click. You're not going to garden yourself to survival. It doesn't work like that. Back in the day, many day ago, I'm talking great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents. You see, they had ways in order to plant a lot of wheat, in order to harvest a lot of wheat, in order to process a lot of wheat berries into flour. Even if they had water wheels that operated big grinding stones, they had ways to do it. They through their technology at the time, devised ways to be able to bulk process, if you will, food. And for a very long time in this world, we've been continuing that modernization. Farming has made giant leaps technologically. Some good, some bad. But the thing that I don't think clicks is the simple fact that if we don't have a way to take over what our great-great-grandparents and our great-great-great-grandparents had to do in order to put that loaf of bread on the table, we're going to be hurting. I joke and I make fun and all that because it's disappointing, it's disgusting, but it's also kind of funny that you've got so many people running around chasing each other that not one of them has stepped outside of the box and said, wait a minute, how are we going to plant, harvest, and process all of that food? And they won't talk about it. Now, I've really been ragging on this for the last, 2-3 weeks or so, raising hell about it. And I don't believe for a second that not one of them has heard of or ran across my content. And the reason why is because I keep hitting their comments. Right? I don't know if there's a frickin' limit on how many damn YouTube channels you can have. I don't know if there's a limit. I haven't hit one. I can tell you that. I haven't hit one. I've got a few YouTube channels. And sometimes for the hell of it, I'll make up a couple of YouTube channels, go hit their comments. Well, I've done that as of late, over the past 2-3 weeks. And they will not address it. They avoid it like the plague. And I know why. Because it is outside of their box. Far enough outside of their box that they don't feel comfortable with it, for one. For two, even though they consider themselves preparedness-minded, they're not. Because they haven't been able to step outside of that box, the box that has been defined for them by every prepper channel, by every TV show, every movie that they've ever seen. That's defined a box. And it's hard for people to step outside of that box. It's hard for anybody to step outside of that box. But it's necessary. Because if you don't, you're going to miss huge things. Can you imagine how bad that would suck? Could you imagine, let's say you had 2 years of food stored back. 2 years. And you're doing everything you can to get things going to be in a completely self-sustainable way. And you just keep slowly hitting your stocks and hitting your stocks and hitting your stocks because you just can't quite produce enough to be able to catch up. And that would suck to starve that slowly. And that's exactly what happened. Unless you can somehow, in a hurry, modernize your technology in order to be able to produce enough. Well, there's a real damned easy way to do that. It's called just get the damn machines going. And it is pretty frickin' easy, even if wood gasification is outside of your box. It's not outside of everybody's box. And if you don't have somebody that's good with their hands, good with tools in your group, I don't even know what to tell you. It's not that hard. No, there is not an add to cart solution. Sorry. It's going to take work. You hear, in fact, I heard it today again about how preppers aren't lazy. They aren't? Okay. All right. Because, you see, and maybe it's just a matter of fact that it hasn't truly clicked for some people. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that is the whole crux of the issue. Because sometimes I think people think they have an understanding of something. But when it comes to truly dealing with the situations like we very well may be facing, not the first time I've said this. Can't tell you how many times I've said this. When it clicked for me, I started to go into a nervous breakdown. I'm telling you, when it clicks, it clicks. To you, it's like the click heard around the world. You get a real huge emptiness in your gut. You get sick to your stomach. You get dizzy, hot, sweaty. You haven't experienced that. Thinking about the dark future we could be going into, need to think a little bit harder about it. I'm not saying get all up in your feelies and get scared and run. I'm saying understand, truly understand what it is that we're looking at, that we're staring in the eyes at. Understand things that, like Ben Davison, Suspicious Observers, talks about. That is going to happen. It's not a maybe. It's not a, well, we don't know if this country's going to nuke this country kind of thing. It's damn well going to happen. You can set your damn calendar by it. Guaranteed. So if we know this, Why are we playing? If we know that it'll reach a point to the where the only way we're going to survive is to go underground for a little bit and then come back up, that's some pretty damn serious stuff. And then when you think on top of that you can't rely on anything that was above ground to be there when you come back up, that's some pretty big serious implications. Maybe they just don't understand what it is we are looking at. Maybe they keep playing these little war games in their head and financial games in their head, train derailments and all that other jazz. Yeah, I come down hard on them. Why? Because they're bullshit. It's unbelievable. They will go on and on and on with speculation and opinion and agenda. Don't forget the stuff you can buy. But they're playing. It's think of it like the churches, okay? How the churches has to play to the congregation's ear if they want to keep that money coming. It's the same thing here. If the prepper channels were truly straight with you, truly, and I mean truly, they wouldn't have the attention that they do. There are certain things that people like. There are certain trends. And even some of these channels, you watch Angry Prepper and the content that he does. I guarantee you, if you go look at trending topics, you will see a blueprint for his content. That is literally what he is doing. He is going and finding the trending topics and then discussing them. Why? Viewership. That's not preparedness, folks. Not even remotely. Not even a little bit. And it's coming from somebody that has been doing it for how long and still lives in the bowels of hell? Give me a break. I'm not playing when it comes to the topic of preparedness. It's not a game for me. It's not a money maker. It's not a way that I can get people coming back for more so I can build my ego just a little higher each day. Nah, sadly, I'm the news guy. It's got more to tell you about prepping than they have ever learned combined. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm just actually trying. Not just trying to make it look good. Because anything real in this world is messy. It's going to be messy. That fake shit is the prim and proper that you see. I'm telling you. Life is messy. And if you haven't figured that out, and I think that might be one of the reasons people crave the prim and proper. Right? Because everybody gets tired of the messy. And I get that. But the problem is, we have to be real. And talking to you about social issues is not teaching you preparedness. Oh, but riots and protests, those are social issues, and that can have... But yeah, Are there riots and protests going on right now? No. Oh. How many channels have talked about the coming unrest from COVID lockdowns? And by the way, I mean, they've almost every single one of them came out and said, oh, it's damn well happening. I'm still holding out on that. I'm still holding out on that. In fact, I think the whole COVID thing is a fake. Now, what I mean by that is you look over here while we do this. I think that's to get us looking a certain direction. I think they're about ready to slip one hell of a humdinger in on us. But see, that's every bit of it is bullshit. It's speculation. That's all it is a speculation and bullshit. That's not giving you any information. And I know I give you plenty of speculation and bullshit with the information. But I don't do it with an agenda behind it. Aside from maybe giving you a little up on what you could be looking at. I don't know, folks. I don't know. The thing of it is in order for it to work, in order for our society to even have a fair chance at all, it's going to take a hell of a lot more working together, for one. But it's going to take a whole hell of a lot of head pulling out of asses. It truly is. I'm sorry if I sound rough or whatever. I'm not a social person. I never wanted to do this. Not from the first day. I still don't want to do this. And I get reminded more and more every day of why. I don't know, folks. All I can tell you, if you're within the sound of my voice, understand what it means to have to be completely self-sufficient. And when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about you, your own person, or even your group of friends, your mag group, your prepper group, whatever. No, I'm talking about those people most important to you. Because again, that's what matters. And we gotta get out of this damn mag group frickin' TV show bullshit. It's such beyond a joke. It's unreal. I don't know. I wish there was more real damn people that actually did their homework or had actually experienced it that would step forward. Because boy, there are a hell of a lot of sheep getting led to the slaughter, and they think they're the awake ones. Nah. Not if you're following all this trending bullshit and all that stuff. It's crazy. I'm reading Fire Marshal Bill. I'm catching up what you're saying. Are you? Oh, you haven't said nothing yet. Right. I absolutely on all of it that you've said so far. Yeah. Before COVID, things were doing much, much, and I mean incredibly better. I mean, most everything was. Really. Trump did have this country going in the right direction economically. I think that in military aspects, I think he was definitely on the ball, and I applauded his efforts at trying to defuse, especially North Korea. That is something I'll remember the rest of my life, and that will be a monumental moment, in my opinion, in my mind, in history, was when Trump walked across that DMZ. That was incredible. That's what we need. And I'm not trying to hold Trump up, because Trump's really, honestly, not what we need. I can't even sit here and full confidence tell you there will be an election, to be quite honest. I don't know what's going to happen, but things aren't good. And it seems like there's a whole bunch of shit that's right about to spill over. I don't know. If I'm right, it's not going to be a good day, Tater. And I've got all kinds of crazy freaking plans. And so much of it is going to hit so fast, people's heads will spin. I don't remember if it was you I was talking with, Fire Marshal Bill, earlier today, talking about the terminals, what their intent is. Yeah, I believe it was you. Their intent is, with this cloud computing now, their intent is to not have personal computers in your home anymore. And they've actually had this intent for quite a while. And what they want is they want to replace the PC, the personal computer, with just a terminal. And the actual, what you're doing and what you're seeing and all that will come from a cloud-based system. And in other words, there's basically no way for you to do anything outside of the confines of their thumb, right? Because in order to do anything, you have to log into that cloud to access that system. Well, right then, nothing matters. There's nothing that's going to protect you, because it's your credentials that has to log in. So there's no amount of VPNs, there's no amount of this and that, proxies, that's going to help you. That's the plan, man. And when they do all this stuff, it's going to be quick. Windows 11 is, from my understanding, Windows 11, the whole reason for that is that gives them a whole lot more capability to check in on us anytime they please. And from my understanding, that's a large part of that quote-unquote security, that added security that, you have to have a, computer's got to be so recent in order to have, well, AMD uses, AMD does it right in the CPU. I guess Intel does it, I'm thinking in the chipset, or I imagine there's something, another circuit or whatever on the board itself for that. But AMD does it to the, right to the processor, with your BIOS and your processor. And so, like my computer's got it, for instance. Mine's up, that security is turned on, but I'm Windows 10. I don't have 11. Jen Jen's computer doesn't. It's not even capable. It can't even. The processor's so old it doesn't have what it needs for that added security. So anyway, what that, from what I'm understanding, is a back door for they, those, them, any damn time they please. Okay, you have to understand, computers have come a long way. You know, this thing I got sitting next to me over here, 2 of the drives in it are digital. They're not, I don't have one that I could just grab and hold up, but they're not the big old, hard drives, the physical hard drives. They're these little bitty cards that go right on the motherboard itself, SSDs. And, one downfall about having the old hard drives, the hard disk drive, is because they chew up quite a bit of power, to be honest. They really do. And in the whole scheme of things. Plus, because it's all, it's physical, there's all kinds of components that are moving, and, your platters are spinning, and, you got a lot of stuff going on there. To where with an SSD, it's digital. It's just, it's all digital. There is no physical stuff. There's no motor running. There's no platters spinning. There's no, heads reading. There's none of that. So the amount of power that it takes in order to power that SSD is minuscule. Just a tiny, 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 tiny little bit of power. Also, considering that you don't have to get all the bells and whistles up and running and fired up and everything going crazy, you'd be able to access the data on that drive without having to have a 5-volt rail and a 12-volt rail and all that going on at the same time just so your hard drive will run. I'm probably a bit over some people's heads. Just understand it takes a lot less power to run an SSD than what it does a HDD, a hard disk drive versus a solid state disk drive. I'm pretty certain that the information I got was correct. That with Windows 11, your computer won't even have to be turned on. As long as it's plugged in, as long as it's connected to the internet, your computer could be off. And they can still access the data on your drive. From my understanding, that was a large, large part of this whole security upgrade. That's what I heard. Not an engineer. Yep, Windows 10 will be my last operating system. And when it comes to the cloud, they can kiss my ass. I just won't be online. That simple. If it goes to that, I just won't be online. It'd be weird. I'll tell you that after all these years. But I think I'll suffice. I'll be fine. Especially if I'm out in the woods somewhere. That'll be really, really fun. Let's see. What does it need? Well, you just might need something turned on in your BIOS, brother. You're Intel, so I don't know. Have you just checked, like, software-wise? I mean, have you just checked, like, on the update page if it was compatible and it came back and said no? If that's the case, there's probably a setting that you have to change in your BIOS that will turn on that extra security so that it will register it as being acceptable. Dude, I am more than certain that your computer's capable. I mean, there is not even the slightest little bitty bit of a doubt that your computer is capable. It's just something like a BIOS setting or something. Yeah, it's I know that's how you do it with AMD. You go into the BIOS and you essentially you just turn it on. But I know again with AMD, I know that is in the CPU itself. As far as Intel's concerned, I think it's on the board. So, but either way, I would imagine you got to turn it on through your BIOS. All right. I reckon we could do a little bit of that news stuff. Going on and on and on. I actually kind of wanted to go on and on and on about the main story, the lead story I got. Yeah, 10's where it's at for me. I'm not going to go any further, and I will not be joining their cloud-based bullshit. That I can assure you of. And it's not because I do anything. I've said this I don't know how many times. I have not deleted my browser history in over a decade. If there's any type of personal, and business type of stuff in emails, I won't delete it. There's a really damn good chance if you've ever sent me an email, you tell me the subject line of that email and I can pull it up real quick like. There is a reason. I'm not doing anything wrong. Look all you want. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not even doing legal things that in my eyes are wrong. And I'm talking about a lot of men are into porn and shit like that. Nope. Check my browser history. I mean, check anywhere. Not into that. I'm an incredibly lame dude. I really am. When it comes to a manly man. But I'm actually more of a man than a lot of people will ever understand. Because being a man has nothing to do with the bullshit they see in Hollywood. Neither before or now. Either way, it's fucked up. Anyway. This first story. EU state completes mass inspection of bomb shelters. And all I can think about when I read... This is Finland, by the way. That image... wait, never mind. I was looking at several images. I don't honestly know the image that is on the thumbnail. It's not necessarily the deal with Finland, okay? Hang on. Finland bomb shelter. I'll be honest, I was very impressed with what I saw. There's any number of pictures. You see a bunch of pictures. I mean, this is one right here. Right, this is Finland. I'm assuming that this is place for children, a place for kids. I mean, obviously, right? But isn't that sweet? I think that's pretty freaking nice. And I guess they've got another view over here. Same place, right? I mean, this is their freaking underground bunkers, folks, that the government is providing. Right? I mean, it's crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. Just kind of trying to show you a few different kind of pictures here of what they've got going on. Right? And the United States, by chance? Oh, hell. Give them an orange bucket and $700, they'll be good. Right? That's the U.S. way of doing it. Insane. So anyway, more back to what they're doing. says Finland has announced the completion of a mass inventory of its bomb shelters amid concerns raised by Russia's military operation in Ukraine. According to the Interior Ministry, the country has over 50,500 active shelters. Now, let me just, say that one more time. 50,500 active shelters for their people. Imagine that. According to the Finnish government, 91% of the shelters are found to be robust enough to sustain an attack conducted with conventional weapons, while 83% can provide shelter from chemical or nuclear emergencies. All the facilities are equipped with ventilators, impervious doors, stackable beds, and even dry closets, which are required by law. Imagine that. In total, the shelters can fit some 4.8 million inhabitants in case of an attack, the inspections found. According to the latest census, Finland's population totals 5.5 million people. The majority of shelters are found to be in suitable condition, and some are currently being used to house swimming pools, sports centers, and even a Santa Claus theme park. However, the Interior Ministry's project manager, Ira Passi, pointed out that some facilities are in need of repair and have faults that prevent them from being put into use within the 72 hours required by law under Finnish law. The proper upkeep and maintenance of shelters is the responsibility of each building's owner. So this is like a private thing. That's interesting. I didn't realize that until I just read it. So in other words, I guess if you own a building, right, I'm sure there's qualifications or whatever. You may have to have a suitable shelter for however many people, the fire marshal would say could be in the building. You have to have a shelter that could take care of that many people. I'm throwing that out there. I don't know that that's what it is, but that's kind of what it sounds like to me. That's incredible. I know people in the United States would throw a fit though. Government saying I got to do something. People in the United States won't help themselves for shit if they don't have to. Some will, but majority, nah. You gotta remember, a very large part of the population is sitting on their asses right now with a TV remote in their hands. The very, very, very large majority, and you can take that as many ways as you want. Anyway. A drone intercepted en route to Moscow, says Mayor. I don't know what else to say about the damn bomb shelter thing. It's frustrating. We can't even really get any damn thing done about hardening an infrastructure. I mean, which is peanuts in comparison to some type of shelter operation. So yeah, a drone was intercepted en route to Moscow. Now this was overnight last night, right? Because there's been stuff quite a bit throughout the day, and I want to get done with the news tonight. So I am going to fly through these a little bit. Ukrainian drones downed in Russia, said governor. These are more drones, so Ukraine just keeps chucking these drones at Russia. And there it goes again. Another suspected drone neutralized near Russian airport. So they keep chucking drones at them. I guess this is still part of the big offensive that we'd been waiting months for that petered out anyway. Hey, what am I supposed to do? I mean, what I'd like to do what I can do are two totally different things. So I'll just laugh because that's about all I can do. What I'd like to do is get a hold of some motherfuckers that are in charge of doing this bullshit and kick them in the nuts really hard about 20 fucking times. For starters. And then we can move on from there. Just saying. Because this is crazy. Right? Our nation is absolutely falling apart. Even if we close that big ass damn spigot called a border, it would still take shit tons for us to come back from where we are. Shit tons and lots of sacrifice. We got sacrifice coming, folks. Like you never imagined. I said it over a decade ago. Either we could have sacrificed a little then, or we didn't sacrifice at all. The nation chose all. I'm only one dude. So, it is what it is. I'm frustratingly used to not knowing what I'm talking about. Believe me, you do not want to be on the front of the learning curve, 'cause society will beat the shit out of you with the tail. Ukraine threatens long-range strikes into Russia. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said on Thursday that the country has produced long-range weapons domestically, while his top security official claimed that a new missile program is in place. Successful use of our long-range weapons, the target was hit 700 kilometers away. Zelensky posted a Telegram message referring to an exercise by the Ministry of Strategic Industries. Zelensky did not specify what kind of weapon was used or what the target may have been. So we'll see. We'll see. I still think if he gets one in on Putin, I mean a really good one in on Putin, he's toast. I think that'd be the end of it. If he dots Putin's I, Putin's gonna dot his life. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. U.S. seeks to base its nuclear forces in UK, says media. I mean, knew that was coming. Nuts. I don't know, folks. I mean, it really doesn't make any sense on any level. It really doesn't. Let's see. U.S. expands microchip blacklist, says Reuters. I have a growing feeling that our ability to get things is going to dry up really quick. Especially technological things. You know, it's in the news about lithium shortages and stuff like that. The first thing I would tell anybody is don't believe anything that you hear. If it's coming from the mainstream, which a lot of this information is, folks, including this Reuters, mainstream, okay? Don't trust it. Especially if it's talking about shortages and stuff like that. Oh, I think that we're going to see shortages, but I don't think it's because there's shortages. I think it's going to be because they're squeezing us. Remember, you will own nothing and be happy. I guess. I don't know, folks. It's going to be ugly. All I can do is beg people. to use their heads, to beg people to understand what is involved for us just to have the basics that are necessary for life. The very, 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 very basics, including bread on your table, especially bread on your table. That one thing alone, putting bread on the table, should be enough to petrify any well-thought person once they understand how much material has to be planted, grown, harvested, and processed. Not just how much material for that, but enough for enough people for the entire year. You're not doing that with your garden, and you're damn well not doing it with hand either. Just not. Just not. There is answers out there. There is a way. But we got to have that discussion. And, well, because I guess there's no add to cart solutions, and because they don't understand it, then I guess it's just not important. I'm telling you, I really don't want to do this. I don't. I am so tired. I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm going to wrap it up. The headlines are there, folks, on Twitter if you want to see them. They are all there. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to enjoy my days off. Wouldn't be looking for me tomorrow on VR. Ain't going to happen. God willing, I'll talk to you all Sunday. Hope you all have a good weekend. God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.